So you finally decided to buy a gaming laptop. Okay, you saved up your money, you're excited, you go into the store and you look at all of them. But every spec sheet lists a different type of display. And you're confused because one of them says IPS, the other one says IPS level. Some say OLED, some say mini LED. Which one is the right one for you? By the end of this video, I hope to educate you and help you make the perfect decision. Now, I did partner with ASUS to make this video. They were kind enough to provide the laptops so that I can showcase the different types of displays that we're talking about today. The first one is IPS level, and usually IPS level is found on laptops that are in the lower mid-range to even budget category. Now, in the past, IPS level was a marketing term. It was kind of gimmicky, right? It would say IPS level, but then you'd find out that it was an actual TN panel that had some of the characteristics of a normal IPS panel. And in some ways, TN panels in the past were better because you got a lower response time. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with lower response times, basically, a response time is how long it takes the pixel to change color. The longer it takes to change color, the higher the response time, the worse it is for gaming. You want that latency to be very low because if you're playing a first-person shooter, you want those pixels to switch as fast as possible so you don't have any tearing. Now, today, IPS level has gone up a notch. Like all these 16:10 displays like we have here on the ASUS TUF F16 are using superior IPS level displays. They're actually IPS. But the difference is compared to a more expensive IPS panel is the color gamut. Like you're still getting 100% sRGB, but what might be different is the Adobe RGB and the P3 might be a little bit lower and the brightness might not go as high. So it might be like 300 to 350 nits as opposed to like 500 nits. You still get the good viewing angles, you still get the good color accuracy, and you still get a good response time. The second display you're going to be coming into contact a lot with is IPS, like standard IPS. And that's a good thing. IPS panels have been around for a very long time. They've been the workhorse of the industry. They're still used in a lot of the products we buy today, and they're just absolutely solid. IPS displays generally offer consistent color and clarity from a wide range of angles, typically up to 178 degrees, so good wide viewing angles, which means you can be collaborating or doing a presentation, and if someone is sitting on an angle from you, they're going to be able to see the full clarity of the screen. Also, they provide more accurate and vibrant colors compared to other types of LCD panels like TN and IPS level. Like I reviewed the ASUS Zephyrus M16 last year, and that had an IPS display, and it had a brighter display. It had a higher color gamut than the F16 that I currently just showed you. The overall benefit of an IPS display is just a solid contender for video editing, for editing photos, for graphic design, for even video work. The only con to an IPS display is that the response times are usually a little bit higher than, let's say, IPS level displays. So if like you're a hardcore gamer, like you're about to enter your 5th year in your favorite esports team, then obviously you're aiming for a higher response time. But for like 99% of people, the response time on an IPS panel that's been tuned for gaming is more than fast enough. Now this is the ASUS ROG Strix 18, and this has a mini LED display. Mini LED displays usually are in laptops that are in the upper mid-range to premium category. And the beauty about mini LED is it has these tiny little LED lights, thousands of them, to use for backlighting. And the benefit is you just get more precise control of brightness and contrast, which is a lot harder to do with a regular IPS panel. The improved contrast and black levels just make mini LED displays look closer and closer to OLED. And because you have all of these little LEDs in the backlighting, you can be so precise in what lights up and what turns off. This means when you're watching HDR content, it just looks so much better because you get less blooming. Also, because you have all these little LEDs, the display brightness is generally significantly higher. Like you can reach over 1,000 nits of brightness without any issues. So very important if you love to watch HDR. Now, my personal favorite display type is OLED. And the good thing about OLED is it's come down in price quite a bit. Like you can find OLEDs in mid-range gaming laptops all the way up to premium. The new Asus Zephyrus G16 and G14 both support OLED displays, and they are absolutely stunning. The benefit of an OLED display compared to every other display that I talked about is contrast, because the pixels are either on or off. There's no little backlights in the back of the panel to light up the pixels. It's either on or off. So when you see black, it's actually true black, which is insane because it just allows you to have really rich and vibrant colors. The other benefit to OLED is you get higher response times. Some of the fastest response times you can get on a gaming laptop. So if you're like a hardcore professional first-person shooter, you're going to want an OLED display over everything else. Like they have some of the lowest response times on the market today. Also, just like IPS and mini LED, you get wide viewing angles, actually better wide viewing angles than most other LED type displays, because again, you're getting these natural contrasty colors that don't have to skew the image. Now, if you're still unsure what type of laptop display you should buy, I highly suggest looking for Asus's ROG Nebula sticker or branding on their laptop, because this is a set of criteria that has to be met to get the best display possible. An Asus laptop with an ROG Nebula certification means that this laptop is QHD or higher. You know it's going to meet 100% DCI P3 color gamut. It's going to have a color depth of 10 or 8-bit. It's going to have a high refresh rate of 120 hertz or higher. You know that you're going to get a super fast response time of 3 milliseconds or less, and it's going to support VRR or NVIDIA G-Sync. Also, if you're really sensitive to blue light, it's going to have a TUV Rhineland certification. It's going to come color corrected directly out of the box with a Pantone validation. And whatever laptop you're buying, it's going to have a mux switch so you can switch back and forth between hybrid mode and that beautiful dedicated GPU. Now, if you are looking at the ROG Nebula HDR standard, you're going to achieve 1100 nits of peak brightness for 16-inch laptops and around 600 nits for 14-inch laptops. You're actually going to get a proper HDR experience. I hope this video helps you pick the perfect gaming laptop display. If you have any questions or need guidance, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, I'll place links to all the laptops that I talked about in the description down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.